I want to make this video to talk about why you should learn how to vibe code, especially if you're a non-technical founder. There are tools like Bubble and Lovable. Now, these tools can only get you so far because your database isn't going to be optimized and your front end is probably going to be bloated and the back end is going to be whatever the AI dreamed up that it thought would work. And the reason why AI isn't great at building your back end and your front end flawlessly is because it doesn't always know the design patterns that need to be implemented to create the result that you want. And when you try to explain to AI how you want the app to be, it's going to give an approximation of what it thinks you're going for. But if you don't actually understand the design patterns and the logic that actually makes it run, you're going to be stuck on errors and on not getting the result that you want or loading times that don't really work. So I've used Bubble.io to create an app called Dustin's Meme Vault, which was a search engine for all of the memes in my production database that I used to create the videos on the Dapper channel, which scaled to over 200,000 subscribers and got many, many millions of views. People would ask me all the time for these assets, so I put them in this database. But it was really slow. And it was also very hard to optimize it because you're constricted to Bubble's options. So this is why you should learn the basics of vibe coding, because now you don't have to spend the next 3 years of your life learning how to code because the AI does most of the coding for you. What you need to know how to do is how to read code and how to understand the design patterns that are going to be used in your application. On the screen here, I have refactoring.guru with the catalog of design patterns. This is a fantastic place to learn about design patterns. So let's check out the factory method. So imagine you're creating a logistics management application and the first version of your app can only handle transportation by trucks, so the bulk of your code lives inside the truck class. After a while, your app becomes pretty popular. Each day you receive dozens of requests from sea transport companies to incorporate sea logistics into the app. That's great, right? But what about the code? As you can see, it's kind of a mess. It's all kind of nested in this one class. At the present, most of your code is coupled to the truck class, and adding new ships into the app would require making changes to the entire code base. Moreover, if you decide to add another type of transportation to the app, you will probably need to make all these changes again. As a result, you will end up with pretty nasty code riddled with conditionals that switch the app's behavior depending on the class of transportation objects. The solution here is to implement a factory pattern, aka factory method. This pattern suggests that you replace direct object construction calls using the new operator, which calls to a special factory method. Don't worry, the objects are still created via the new operator, but it's being called from within the factory method. I know this sounds a little bit confusing. It's just you're initializing or constructing a new, way of transport, whether it's ships, planes, trucks, carrier pigeons, using an initializer that knows all the different ways that you could store your freight. So if you're new to this, if you are a non-technical founder who wants to have more control over the app that you're developing, I highly recommend just learning the basics of Node and Python, because Node represents JavaScript, right? That's going to be all your front-end stuff like Vue, React, or Svelte in my case. And Python is how you're going to host your Fast API. This is one of the most robust, simple, fast ways to create a server without using C++ or C#, which generally speaking, I don't recommend for a server side. You do not need to have that much fine-grained control over the memory of your application. Python can handle that just fine, and it's a lot easier to use. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about how you can start to create your own applications. It's a little bit intimidating at first. Installing Python, it might be the hardest part. Installing your front-end Node project is also going to be a bit of a challenge for a new beginner, but you can actually get my free template to set up a Fast API and Svelte front end. So the back end is that Fast API, the front end is that Svelte JavaScript. And you can download that for free via my Skool community. It's totally free to join at the moment. So if you download that and you have Python installed, it's going to be pretty easy. You're just going to need to create and activate your VNV, install those requirements. Same goes for the front end. You're just going to use your terminal to CD or LS, and I have a full tutorial about how to do that on this channel as well. So check that out if you want to set up your first full stack application in 20 minutes. It's pretty simple to do. You have a robust user login. That's a great starting place to start building your own application. And what I just showed you earlier, my ChatGPT Killer app, is built on that same design pattern infrastructure for user login, backend being Fast API, front end being JavaScript Svelte. And if you have any questions about how to implement this, I'd be happy to answer your questions in the Skool community or here on YouTube. So feel free to leave a comment about that. And if you have other questions about how to create specific types of applications or learn some new skill relating to development, leave that as a comment and I'll make a video about it. If you haven't subscribed already, now's a great time to do that. Please hit the like button and let me know if this is helpful for you. Thanks.